Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Excel Today. I know we were supposed to be here last week. Joe had to teach in person.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Last minute, so we weren't able to do the show because he had to drive to the location. So, Joe, how was that? It was
But,
insane.
I got excited because I haven't done it in such a long time, and then when I was there, it was just masks up, everything, same protocols. But it did feel good because you get to like really see the people, and you don't get to see if they're happy or not because they got the mask up. But still, it was just a whole different ball game, and I forgot how much I miss it. Like
Yeah.
being able to see
Yeah.
people.
Well, we're getting closer and closer to normal. As long as things progress.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah. This is great. I now also know we did change the topic up a little bit. I know we were going to do tips and tricks today initially, but Joe got super excited about power pivot tables, and he's like, "Yo, we got to do this week." And so we got an exercise files for you guys. If it's in the video description, let me actually drop it in the chat as well. Well, later. I have thing. I'll drop it in chat in just a few minutes here, guys. I'm on a different screen within our OBS here, just a FYI. But just some quick channel updates. Number one, remember to follow Joe on TikTok for regular Excel updates. The link to his TikTok channel is here in the description as well. How's TikTok going, Joe?
It's good. So I do have my Excel videos up there, and then I also have my family stuff up there too. So if you want to just see like what I do, what an instructor does on his off days, it's pretty much fixing cars and hanging out with my son and my wife. So it's great.
Gotta get that Excel stuff in there.
Well, plus Excel stuff though.
Plus Excel. Okay. Hello, Lou. It's good to see you. You're from England. Oh, that's great. We actually, we worked with a UK team to build out our new TMS that we launched last year. So I definitely am used to working on UK time. It must be the evening for you guys, about 4 or 5 p.m. Yeah. Let's see. Oh yeah, I was going to get those. I was going to get that link for you guys real quick. Let me get the exercise files. But also, I did want to give you guys a quick shout out and thank you to everybody again for watching, liking, and subscribing. We had our best January, and it was actually our best month ever. So I want to thank you guys for that again. It means so much to us for, just like I said, watching, sharing, subscribing, liking, commenting. It all helps us tremendously. We keep setting record months, so you guys are helping us grow more and more and create more and more videos. And going into that, the update for the channel is we're creating tons more videos. I've been interviewing people all week to find some new instructors to teach some new topics and stuff like that. We will be branching out into some Apple products. I have somebody potentially that could do that. I'm super excited about seeing their demo to see how it goes, but we're trying to get a lot more relevant work stuff for you guys. And again, focusing on the Office suite and everything like that. And then also, just on top of that, we do have Office 2021 coming soon. Again, I don't want to give you a hard set date because our stuff is always constantly in flux and changing, but that's you guys. We will have Excel to 2021, PowerPoint 2021. You're asking, well, what's 2022? It's like, well, it just came out in November, so it's still relatively new. But we will have all those videos coming out by, I will say, Q2. They'll start rolling out. I'm not going to make any promises on that though. Again, and like I said, let us know what you guys want to learn. Drop it in the chat, the comments, and everything like that. Like honestly, when I see something that is that I know is being used in the workplace and everything like that, we actually go out and we seek those to create those titles and stuff like that. Let's see. Lou has
Cool.
SQL query. It actually was SharePoint. I might have misspoke on that. It was the SharePoint fundamentals class that we split into two. The SQL querying class, that was going to be 2 classes, but the amount of content, it only kind of made sense for us just to release it in one video. So the SQL querying for beginners was initially supposed to be 2 videos, but we condensed it into 1. So that's why there was a little bit of confusion there. And again, that's why we don't always say for sure this is going to be the date. And I always say it's going to be in flux because sometimes we look at it and we're like, well, it's about, just about 3 hours. Let's just make that one video for you guys. The SQL querying basics, query. Yeah, that's the one that's going to be in Learnit Anytime, Lou. That's going to be the only one in there for now. I am trying to get a SQL service report, SQL reporting services class, SSRS. That's the way I know it. I can't say the whole thing, but it's going to be a much more in-depth and robust class. And again, I'm currently looking for somebody. The person I originally had lined up, they no longer can make the video series, but I'm getting somebody else to do that. So we'll have a much more full-on, working with SQL Server, going through all the types of queries, being able to read all the Transact SQL command lines and everything like that. And, it's going to be a much more robust class. It's going to be based heavily on the recently, it was an old Microsoft class called 10990. They're doing a big push trying to teach you guys all to use Azure, hardcore. But I know there's tons of people who are still using SQL Server and everything like that. So we will have a class that focuses on that. Kind of a lot to say about the updates on the channel. But yeah, that is it. That is where it's all at, where it stands right now. So again, SQL querying got condensed into one video. SharePoint fundamentals got split into two, and so that's where we're at. And then if you're looking for it to be on our Learnit Anytime subscription site, we add all the videos at the end of the month as one full series. And actually, there'll be some surprises on the Learnit Anytime side. That for anyone who doesn't know, Learnit Anytime is our subscription-based service. It's ad-free, so you don't have all the ads that I know run on our channel. But we're going to be adding exams to there pretty soon. And then also we potentially have a whole new series of videos that will be launching on there exclusively, not on our channel as well. So another reason to sign up for Learnit Anytime. So I hope that answers everyone's questions there. So I hope that answers your question, Lou, and I hope that answers everyone. Let's see. All right. Let's see. Well, that's it from my side, Joe.
Yeah, I saw Azim said, can we do like a video on protecting cell ranges and how to allow editing? So what I was thinking of, and I'm going to talk to Ben with it too. I did see that we are starting these, I'm starting to see a lot in YouTube, these little short videos, like YouTube Shorts. And I think that could be something that could be a YouTube short. It's really not too in depth on how to do that. So to protect the cell range and then allow certain things to be edited so that they can't have full rights to, editing your worksheets, but they have certain, rights to. So that's something I could, create later on, Azim.
You can do it on your TikTok, Joe.
Oh, or TikTok too. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's pretty. Yeah. We could essentially, guys, we could take these questions and we could have Joe just TikTok them if you want, Joe. And you guys can find
if it's something that's in a short amount of time, that's going to take me 3 minutes to explain, which I think that's one of them, Azim. I definitely feel free to ask, and we'll get those out for you too.
Yeah.
And then for the keyboard shortcuts, so I am going to be doing those, I promise. It's just I got really excited about Power Pivot. If you've ever used pivot tables, what it does is it takes data and it puts it into a table with interchangeable rows and columns. And what that allows you to do is then look at the data in different ways to answer questions based on that data. So today I thought we'd do Power Pivot tables. But before we get into that, of course, I am super excited because I never have any new mugs. But shout out to a couple of friends of mine for getting me these mugs. And look at this. This is such a cool mug. It's one of my favorites.
You got to read it backwards, but yeah.
This one was specifically from my friend Kim, so shout out to Kim. Thank you so much. So it's awesome. Man,
I can't believe I almost forgot about the mugs. Also, I did drop the link to the exercise files, guys, just in there. So if you want to get that opened up, I'll give you a second here. I've had this one on the show before, I'm sure, but it's the one I'm using today. I haven't used it in quite a while. It's the Happy Cat one. The only problem with this one, and I think I've demoed it before, is that these run into your mouth when you try to drink. So it's not the most ideal thing to drink coffee from. Let's see. So just say hello to everyone. Azim, hello. Blaze Katana, great to see you again. I saw Sue in here as well. Good to see you again from icy, freezing Central Texas. It's pretty cold in California too. So it's
really cold.
Sahil, great to see you. Arjun, great to see you as well. Sufyan, great to see you as well. I'm glad you guys are joining us. Are you ready to get started on Power Pivot tables here, Joe?
Let's do it. Power Pivot tables.
So let me know when you're ready to share that screen, and we'll get that up for everybody.
All right. Screen is being shared.
All right. Here we go. Boom.
Awesome.
Right. Hello, Joyce. I hope South Africa is. I think it's warm now, right? Because it should be summer there since you guys are in the southern hemisphere. And Wasif, hello from Pakistan. Yeah, well, that's another global audience today. All right,
I love it.
I'll see you guys on the other side and let Joe do his thing here.
So yeah, today we're going to be talking about power pivots. As I explained, pivot tables allow us to analyze data and answer questions on data, right? So what happens though when you have three different data sets, right? So for instance, we have this data set over here that has the products and the price. So how much is each product? This one over here has the sales reps and what region they actually sell in. And then this one's more of a factual table where it has the specific dates that each salesperson sold, what product they sold, and if they gave a discount and how many units they sold. The problem is I need to start to ask questions about this data, but since it's in three different places, there's no way for me to really put all three of these into the pivot table right away. I'm going to have to do some data mining. Now, I know that we've taught like VLOOKUP and XLOOKUP on this channel before, but essentially what I want to do is skip the VLOOKUP and XLOOKUP. And the reason why is because we can use Power Pivot to pull all three of these data sets into our Power Pivot, create relationships between them, combine them, and then we'll be able to load them into a power or a normalized pivot table. So that's what we're going to do today. I really think this is just so important to know. So the first thing we need to do, though, is turn on Power Pivot. And it's actually one of Excel's add-ins. So the first thing we have to do is go over to the File tab, go to the Options, so we can get Excel options. Now, once we're here, you'll see in our little navigation list here, we do have add-ins. So we're going to navigate over to the add-ins. And then once you're here, you're going to see just a bunch of stuff here, like all the different add-ins and active application add-ins. You'll even see Microsoft Power Pivot, but that's not what we're going to do. It's just telling us where it is, which is nice. So we can see it's a COM add-in. COM is Component Object Model. That's what it stands for. So it's just a nice add-in for us to use. So I'm going to click on it, go to COM add-ins, click on Go. Now you'll notice that we have quite a few of them. We have like Data Streamer for Excel, we have Inquire, we have Power Maps if you want to use that. And then we have the last option, which is Power Pivot. So I'm going to click that on and I'm going to click OK. And now you'll notice that I do have what's known as the Power Pivot tab. There it is. And there's a couple of things in here. So first off, we can manage the data model, which is where we're going to put all three of these data sets. We also can create measures, KPIs, key performance indicators. We can add to the data model. We can detect relationships if things are really named correctly. For instance, like product and product, sales rep and sales rep. It'll actually detect those relationships. If it's the same formatting, it's the same header name, it'll be able to do that for you. And then, of course, some settings on those Power Pivot environments. Now, the first thing we have to do is load these three tables in. And it's always a good idea to name your tables. The reason being is because when you name a table and you go to table design, it usually says like table 1, table 2, table 3. I don't like that personally because then I get confused on which table's which. So I just named this table price table. I named this table region table. And I named this one the fact table because that's where all our facts are. So I already did that for you. So if you're following along with the file, you don't have to rename them. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is click into this one table here. It doesn't matter where you click. You just click into a table, go to Power Pivot, and you're going to add it to the data model by clicking this little button here. Now it's going to open up Power Pivot for Excel. So it's very similar to any Microsoft product. We do have our tabs up here, not as many, but we do have some tabs. And we also have commands and command groups. So we have our one table here, but we're not finished yet. We have to go back into Excel and we have to go grab the other two tables. Now the thing is to go back to Excel, you'll see this little Excel where it says switch to the workbook right up top here. So it's like a little Excel icon. And we're going to load the next table. And once again, it's just click on the table, anywhere on the table, and add to data model. Boom, now we have two. So we have price table at the bottom here, and we have our region table. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to go back to Excel and just load in that third table. Click anywhere, add to data model, and boom. Now we have all three tables here. We have our price table, our region table, and our fact table. And see how it says it at the bottom? If you didn't name your tables, it would have been table 1, 2, and 3. And, well, you wouldn't know exactly what's in there. So it's always important to name your tables. So the next thing we want to do is we want to create a relationship between all three of these data sets, right? Based off of something that they have in common. Now, to do this, I want to make it a little easier for me. So right now we're what's in a data view, and I want to be in a diagram view. So all the way to in the home tab here, all the way to the right, you'll be in the view command group, and you're going to select diagram view. Now, once I go into the diagram view, I have my three data sets, and you can make them a little bigger or smaller. You can move them around. And it's just an easier way to just look at the data, right? You see the headers and you see the name of the table. Now I have to figure out what is the relationship between those two data sets with my facts table. And really the relationship is between my price table and my fact table, we have the products. So you'll see here we have the products here and we have the products here. And what we're trying to do is grab this price and just bring it over here. So since there's a relationship, I can now take the products, click and drag it to products, and it creates a one-to-many relationship. Now, a lot of people ask me, why is it one-to-many? That asterisk means many. Well, sometimes it could be a many-to-many. Sometimes it's a one-to-one. Sometimes it's a many-to-one, one-to-many. And the reason being is, let's pretend that I have a list, right, over here. I have this list with all my sales reps. Joe, Ben, Josh, and Liz. But then over here on my facts table, I have all the different sales we've made. So I made 2 sales, so I'm listed twice. Ben made 1 sale here. Sorry, Ben. Josh made 2 sales. All right. What happens is now there's many versions of our names here, but there's only one unique version of our name here. So that's where we get the one to the many. All right. So hopefully that helps to kind of understand those relationship connections. Now, the next one we have to think of is how can I get the region table to my fact table? And well, I see that we want to pull the region into this table, and the only relationship is sales rep to sales rep. And once again, that's a one-to-many. And this one is perfect about the example I just showed. We have the sales reps listed, but then when they're making their sales, they might have made like 4 or 5 sales. So their name is listed 4 or 5 times. So now we have our relationships. They look great. We can go back to our data view. Now I'm going to be on my fact table because this is where I want to pull the other facts. And I want to add a column for, first off, the price, and second off, well, the actual region. So in order to do this, I'm going to click on Add Column. I'm going to use what's known as a DAX expression, a data analysis expression. And it's very similar to a function in Excel, but they're quite different. Like there's different ones. So we do have an if DAX expression, which is nice. It's very similar to the if function. But the one that I want to use today is related. And what this does is it returns a related value from another table, very similar to VLOOKUP or XLOOKUP, right? Where you're searching by a lookup value in a list, and then it returns that information. We're doing that, but since they're related, we can now just pull that information quickly. So I'm going to say equals related, and I want to pull, well, what do I want to pull? The price. And I'm going to pull it from the price table. So I'm going to double click on that and press enter. And what it's going to do is it's going to now pull in that price. You'll see doublers are $79.95, Sunshine is $19.95, doublers down here $79.95. So it worked perfectly. And the only thing I really need to do is just rename this column, and I'll just put price. Now we're going to do the same thing, except we're going to pull the information from our region table, right? I want to pull the region in here. So now that it's related, simple enough, I can do equals related and pull what I want because we created those relationships. I want the region. Press enter. And there it is. We have our regions. Pretty cool. So it does work and function the same way as XLOOKUP or VLOOKUP, but right now we're getting it already primed and ready for a pivot table, right? So now all I have to do is rename this one. I'll call it regions. And now what I can do is I could take this fact table. I can use this pivot table button here, and I can load it straight into a pivot table. And I'll put it into a new worksheet and click OK. And there we go. Now you'll see we have all three of our tables. We really don't even need to use the region or price table unless we wanted to, because we already incorporated everything into the fact table. Now we can just simply create a pivot table, see like our sales rep in one, what region they were selling in another, and then how much they made total in each region. And there we go. Pretty cool. I actually don't like it like that. I want the sales reps over here, and let's do the regions over here so it's a nicer looking table. And this is just a really great way, once again, to take multiple data sets, combine them together, put them into a pivot table so we can quickly start to ask questions about our data. Now, once here, of course, you can play around with the pivot table any way that you want. Design-wise, we can, for instance, maybe I want, I don't know, banded rows so it looks a little nicer here. I want to change the look of it. I want it to look, that looks good. I want to make sure that all of my numeric values are, well, currency. So I'm going to do Control-Shift to the right, Control-Shift down to select my entire currencies. And there we go. And then I'll just go to Home tab, change it to a currency. There we go. And then another thing we can do here, if we wanted to, we could, I don't know, change it up even more. Maybe, by the way, name your pivot table. That's important. We could go to report layouts, maybe show in an outline view so it's a little more compact. We can turn off grand totals, turn them on if we don't care about the grand totals over here because it's like one price each. We're more than welcome to do that as well. So you can just turn them off for both the rows and columns so that we just have our data. And subtotals as well, we can turn them on or off. We can include filtered items, things like that. Once we're done creating this pivot table, also don't forget we can drill down. So if you double click, it pulls a report for all of Ben's information. And then we can go to the sheet and just call it Ben's sales. Right? Or when we go back to our data again, I can go take a look at, well, let's see, what did Bethany sell? So I could double click and it lists all of Bethany's sales. So this is even more amazing because it creates a new sheet where now we can just pull this stuff apart. And I could call it Bethany sales. So as you can see, something that I think is really important for you to know, taking multiple data sets, combining them together, creating relationships, using DAX expressions, and then loading them into pivot tables. And with that said, I hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much.
Boom. Game changer, Joe. Game changer.
I love it.
We did get one question right off the bat from Wasif. It says, any shortcut to fill in blank cells on a pivot?
So while there's no shortcut to fill in blank cells on a pivot table because it's already it's already pulling that data from an original data source, what you could do is just go back to the original data source, select all the blank cells, and then replace them with data. And I typically like to do like NA for non-applicable or none, or having something there rather than nothing is always good in data, especially when you're analyzing it, because those blanks can get a little tedious and you're like, well, what's a blank mean? Does it mean somebody messed up the data? Or does it mean that it's just not applicable to that data set? So yeah, I would go back to the original data, just select all the blanks, which you can do, by clicking on replace and going to advanced options, and then just fill in whatever you want, whether it's NA or none. And then refresh your pivot table. Once you refresh your pivot table, it'll include it in your pivot table as a value.
I hope we answered your question there. Let's see. Any other questions, guys? We got actually. This is one of the few times we have a lot of time left. As far as we usually are running it right up against the clock, but this time we got a little bit extra time. So if you guys have questions about Excel or just what we just demoed or anything like that, or you want us to talk about the pivot tables a bit more. Oh, here's one from Blue. Let's go. If you get data from an external source when you refresh the pivot, does it auto update?
So it depends, right? If it's constantly updating the original data source, yes, you do still have to click refresh. If you're manually putting it into Excel and it's just raw data, then no. Then you have to reselect your data. What really is important when you're using pivot tables is that we create tables off of pivot tables, because the table expands, right? So every time you add new data, the table expands. So if you are doing it manually, the quick fix is just turn it into a table. So every time you pull in new, fresh data from that external source, you could just click the refresh button instead of reselecting every time. But if it is just coming from an external source, then and you know it's updated data, you could just click the refresh button. Great question.
Yeah, great question. Great question. Thank you, Lou, for the question. Let's see. Got to say hello to Jose, Sarah, LaCroix, or Leo Sarah. Sorry, I probably messed that up. Like I said, I'm not the best at names. But hello to everyone. So I'll give it a minute or so here for any other questions. If not, we do have. Well, go ahead.
You know what? Yeah, you know what? Because we have some time left, and I did say I would do some keyboard shortcuts. I'll show some keyboard shortcuts.
There we go. Boom. While he's getting set up, I'll just let you guys know that obviously Power Automate Advanced is tomorrow, so we hope to see you there. Again, that was another video by Trish. Incredible video. She just finished some SharePoint 2019 for on-prem. So anyone that uses the on-prem version, we have that coming out. I know it's 2019, but that's, from as far as I know, that's still the last on-prem version of SharePoint. So for you guys, those intranets, it'll be coming soon. All right, there we go.
Okay, so
one.
So some keyboard shortcuts that are some of my favorites is one of them selecting data. I really don't like to select data like this because it just takes too long. If you want to select all your data, it's going to be Control A. All right, so Control A will allow you to select all your data. And the way that I remember this is A for all, right? But another thing that's really important, besides just being able to select all the data at once, is being able to select parts of your data. Like, for instance, maybe I just want to look at all the gross pay entries. Now, there is no way to do that, right, with Control A, because if I use Control A, it just selects all the data. But when you're clicking and pulling, how many of you have ever done this? Let me know in the comments. You're selecting all your data, selecting all, and then you go past, you're like, oops.
Still do that, yeah.
Yeah. No more. Don't worry about it. You're going to use this keyboard shortcut. It's going to be Control plus Shift plus the arrow keys. So depending on where you want to go. So for instance, if I'm click on this gross pay, I'm going to use Control Shift down arrow, and it's going to select everything to the next empty cell. So now I've just selected all this data within 2 seconds instead of clicking and dragging. So that's important to me, right? Or if I wanted to select, for instance, these 3 columns, I just select all 3, Control Shift down arrow, boom, I got them selected, right? So a lot easier than clicking and dragging.
I did not know you could use it on multiple columns. That's actually a first for me. I thought it was just individual columns. That's game changer for me, Joe.
I love it. No, I love it. It's so, because I go through these things and I'm like, wow, that was so annoying. Another keyboard shortcut that I really like is, I know most of you probably know Control X for cut, Control C for copy, Control V for paste, or you come up here and you'll use, cut. And by the way you can learn these keyboard shortcuts, you'll see I'm just hovering over cut and it's giving me the keyboard shortcut in parentheses. So that's how I've learned most of my keyboard shortcuts. It's just by reading and clicking and, how do I bold? Control B. How do I italicize? Okay, Control I. Perfect. But with these Control X, Control Vs, I don't actually use them anymore, because what I can do is this. Let's say, for instance, I want to move this data. Now, most of you would use Control X. You would get the little dancing ants, right? I don't do that anymore. All I simply do is this. I click, I go to the border, and I move it. That's it. Wherever I want. It keeps the formatting, keeps the formulas. Wherever I want, I can move it. Now, if I want to create a copy of it, I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to hold the Control key while I do it. Look at that. I can create billions of copies wherever I want just by holding the Control key.
Awesome.
And the last thing is, I'm sure you've done this. Let's say I want to move Amy, right? Amy's right here, and I want to move her between Jane and Paul. Well, I'm sure most of you would do a right click, insert, and then you would do a copy and paste or a cut and paste, right? You don't have to do that. All you have to do is select, do that moving, but hold the shift key down and move it between Jane and Paul. And that's it. So you can move things between lists as well. And you don't have to worry about doing all that other crazy stuff, or hold the shift key and bring her back. So just a couple of little like tips, tricks, keyboard shortcuts. I hope those are going to save you a lot of time. But yeah, that's it for me. I appreciate you all.
Blowing my mind with all these tips and tricks.
I appreciate it. No, I love it.
I just think of all the projects that I literally were just working on that I could have just used all these tips for. We do have one quick question. Maybe we can get to this. Sufyan wanted to know, how can we change sheet to sheet without using the mouse?
How can we move? You mean like navigating at the bottom of the sheets?
I think that's what it is from the tabs, because it would have to be from the same workbook, correct?
Yeah, it would have to be the same workbook. You know, that's a great one. I usually, I don't know. That's a good one. Let's take a look. I'll let you know. I'll do a short on that one.
TikTok. Boom. So Joe's going to take that one on TikTok. Also do the name cell one that we talked about earlier. So you got 2 updates to look forward to on TikTok from Joe soon. Again, the link to his TikTok is in the video description. Go join it. Check out what Joe's doing. Check out what his family's doing. And, it also helps Joe out tremendously as well. And again, just want to thank everyone for joining us today. You guys keep helping us hit record numbers and everything like that. And I cannot thank you enough for everything, just watching, liking, subscribing, and everything like that. It helps us out so much. So I want to thank all of you for our success, because without you guys, we wouldn't, none of it would happen. So I want to thank everyone again for that. And then if there's nothing else, go Rams. Oh, Jay Rome. Sorry. No, man. I'm a 49er fan, so no way. I'm rooting for the Bengals. Sorry. But yeah, we will see you guys all next week. Oh, wait, Joe, do you want to choose a topic for next week, or maybe we'll come up with that offline? Or hey, guys, you want to drop something in here that you want us to cover real quick that maybe we could cover in about 20 minutes? Drop it in the chat real quick. Stay online just for a minute or longer.
Yeah, I was thinking if we don't get a really good topic in the chats, we could do some Power BI stuff.
Okay.
And not more towards like the visuals, but more towards measures and how we can like combine measures, and also conditional formatting inside of Power BI. A lot of people don't know you can actually do that in your visuals, do conditional formatting. So yeah,
let's do it. Some fun. Power BI. All right. Power BI next week, guys. Actually, that's a really good topic. I mean, I'm sure everyone is going through the data from last year and everything like that, like how your company performed or how your department did and everything like that. And again, Power BI can help you visualize that, or make great visualizations for, whoever you need to report to. Let's see. Lots of requests for arrays as well in Excel. What module is that covered in, Joe? I can't remember off the top of my head.
That's power users.
Power user. Okay, yeah. So we have an Excel power user video, guys, on our channel, and it will cover those arrays. We will try to get to that on a future show, but just if you guys need help right now, there is that Excel power user course on our channel right now that you can go watch, and it covers arrays in depth.
Yeah, dynamic arrays, normalized arrays. It really does. It's a great. You should just go check that out. Check out that
Power Pivot before Power BI. That's a little old school. I mean, Power BI used to just be Power Pivot, and you had to add it into Excel, and then, well, kind of what you were showing there. But I mean, like, that's kind of where it started. It started just as an add-in, and it turned into the what it is now. But that's So it's gonna be like Excel 2013.
Yeah, about that. Yeah, it was just an ad, and then they were like, "Whoa, this could be so much more powerful." So you'll notice a lot like stacks expressions I talked about. That's huge. Creating relationships, that's huge in Power BI. You do that because you're always pulling multiple data sets from multiple places. So you have to make sure your data is related and in similar format.
Let's see. This is actually one that we could probably do a show on, actually. Optimizing for Excel. Like maybe you just have a spreadsheet and how to optimize it better, sharing and stuff like that. Yeah. Thanks for all the topics, guys. We are actually way over time again. Well, first we were over time and now we're way over time, but I know Joe's got to teach, and I actually going to be interviewing 7 potential instructors for you guys today, and then tomorrow I have 7 more. So I'm going to be going through and making sure that we get you guys great teachers to make sure that you guys learn the topics and everything like that. And like I said, just whatever you guys want to learn, drop it in the comments, drop it in the chat here. I seriously go through all the comments every single morning. I note this stuff down. I see how many times they've been asked for or requested for, and then I go out and try to get those classes for you guys. So that's it. Yeah, that's the show today. Manoj Kumar, if you're talking about emailing sheets, a place you can actually do that is Offsite. That's our online community. You can actually go and ask, like, if you guys are on our any of our videos, or you have a burning question that you want answered, you can go into Offsite and you can actually ask the question there, and it will get answered within 2 business days by one of our instructors. Either it's going to be Joe, Foz, Mo. I know Josh is in there as well. So go to Offsite. It's offsite by learnit.com. Let me actually drop the link real quick. I have it here. So Manoj Kumar, go to Offsite right there, join up, and you'll find you can go right to the Excel section and just drop your question right there, and it will get answered. So that's what Offsite's for. It's for you guys as a community, so you guys can come and if you have those burning questions or you need help on anything, just ask your questions there and we will get to you. So that's our show today, and I hope you guys have a great weekend, and I hope to see you guys all for Power Automate tomorrow. I'll be in the chat as always, and have a great weekend.